is he trying to question this committee on the pieces of legislation that we are trying to prepare? Mr. Chair, I'd like to find out because it seems to me, Mr. Chair, that he does not actually believe in what we're trying to do. Now, Mr. Chair, Attorney Delgra, my committee, the Human Rights, have at least 5 bills that ought to be filed. And it is not our duty to tell you what those bills are, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Chairman Benny.
Direct my clarificatory questions po to the former president. Mr. President, you were once a prosecutor, and tama po.
Yes, sir.
Thank you po. And Mr. Chair, if I also would like allow the former president to interrupt, just as similar with what Congressman Rog, when he also asked the former president, I would also like to have that kind of arrangement. He can answer me whenever he wants. Wala pong problema sa akin yun, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. President, you were once a prosecutor, and then you served as a mayor of Davao City, and also a former member of the House of Representatives, and then went back to being a mayor again, if I have my timeline correct. No? And then before you ran for the presidency in 2016. And I guess the reason why we invited you over to this committee hearing is also, apart from giving you your fair chance of responding to some of the allegations, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, of some of those individuals who were, at some one way or the other, were part of the implementation of the war against drugs in your administration, namely Colonel Garma, Colonel Leonardo. These are the individuals who came out and then with affidavits that they have signed, alleged some things that happened during the implementation of the drug wars against the personality of the former president, Mr. Chair, and this is one way of giving you the fair chance of maybe responding to those allegations. And apart from that, Mr. Chair, Mr. President, you're correct. This is the primary consideration also of this Quad Committee, is to make sure that if there's any policies, laws, regulations in our land that have either weak or needs to be updated or needs to be amended, or for the Congress to pass a new law to strengthen our resolve in trying to protect our streets from illegal activities, criminalities, as well as balancing it with the upholding the due process of law. This is the perfect time for it. So again, I'd like to ask you, Mr. Chair, Mr. President, when you earlier admitted po na you were the ones who ordered the police, yung kill nga po, no? Sinabi niyo po. I presume you came from a position where, as a former prosecutor, there's something wrong with the criminal justice system in our country. I'd like to ask you, why po? I'm just curious po, no, Mr. Chair. Why did you? I don't know if that's an imposition on your part. Why did you have to go to length of ordering some policemen? Was there any wrong in terms of how our criminal legal justice system is being observed, practiced in this country?
Yes, sir. The matters of detention, very limited kasi that's about, you have 9 hours, 18 hours, and then 34. Sir, mag-imbestiga ka ng kaso. Kung anong sabihin itong tao na ito, you have to...
So you're telling us that the judicial system in this country is not that effective. You said it yourself.
No, it's not effective. It has become insufficient.
Insufficient, but you also said that it's not actually effective. Because if you're saying that, Mr. President, I'm kind of confused because you would be giving the authority to the ICC to come here and investigate, because they were saying that the judicial system in this country is not effective,
Yes.
Mr. Chair. Therefore,
I have to be frank.
therefore, you are giving the right
Well,
for the ICC to come and investigate. Are you doing that?
I will tell them a different story.
Because what you said when you were president was quite different
Yeah.
to what you're trying to say now as a private citizen. When you were president, you were saying that there's nothing wrong with the judicial system in this country, so that the ICC has no right whatsoever to investigate. But now as a private citizen, Mr. Chair, I'm kind of confused because right now you're telling me that the judicial system in this country is insufficient and ineffective. Therefore, you are giving the right for the ICC to come in and investigate. Mr. Chair.
Civilian ako, sir. Iba naman yung presidente ako. That is a different story. Panahon-panahon lang yung lalabas sa bunganga mo.
So therefore, Mr. President, just one question uli, no? So are you trying to change your position now, being a private citizen, to what you said when you were president?
In what manner, sir?
As what you've said, that you were president then, now you're a private citizen. Because of that, you are able to say that the judicial system in this country is ineffective and insufficient, Mr. Chair.
Not ineffective, insufficient. Insufficient talaga.
Mr. President, I heard the word ineffective. I heard it.
Yes, sir. That's why I repeated it when I said
I have
ineffective.
I have big ears like you do, so I heard it, Mr.
Yeah.
President.
Please proceed, Congressman Addiong.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. President, for that response. I believe, as a non-lawyer, I'd like to be enlightened. No? There are certain issues in the prescription of law. There are also, if I may be correct, I would be stand corrected if, for example, my interpretation.
Go out and find out the truth. And it takes time. So in the meantime, you cannot hang on to this guy because there are periods of detention prescribed by law. So yan ang problema, because if the lawyer comes, talagang i-release mo yan, and by the time that you discover kung ano ang sinasabi niya, na totoo, ano at hindi, wala na sa stasyon. Release. Of course, the periods would depend on the gravity of the offense. 918, I think it's about 36 hours. That's the most. And medyo kulang yan, sir. And usually, if there is a lawyer and there is a demand for the release, because the law says that they can only be detained for that so many hours, wala talaga tayong magawa. And by the time ma-verified natin yung totoo o hindi, kung nagsasabi ng totoo, hindi pa wala pang abogado, when we find out the truth, pagbalik natin, wala na. And he is gone forever. So, we are left with so many cases na ganun ang nangyari, sir. Or even sometimes na you have to detain a person and he makes a confession. By the time that you discover really the truth, based on his confession, wala na siya dyan. Pag-discover may only to find out there are serious issues or criminal offenses committed, wala na siya. Because that's the law. So, talagang nakatali ang ano ng pulis, sir, ang kamay. Because matagal na kasi ito, sir. This is a 1935 revised penal code. Hindi na na-amend yan, sir. So yung periods of detention, wala yan. Hindi na na-amend yan. So it's an outmoded, not effective, no longer applicable to the present day reality. Kasi noon, sir, mga kriminal, pwede takbo, magsakay ng karabaw, o mga sakyanan. Ngayon, sir, wala, you know, they can move fast with all the available vehicles at their hand. So we have to amend the laws of criminal procedure, pati the criminal law itself. Sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr.
So
Chair.
the
Now,
responses of the resource person, the former mayor, former president, to those questions. Number one is about the limited period of detention. So ang sabi po ng dating mayor, dating pangulo, under current realities, medyo hindi na ho ito sapat. So he is proposing amendment of the pertinent laws, particularly the revised penal code. Let me remind everybody po na hindi lang po ang batas ang kailangan nating i-amend. Kasi nandyan mismo yan sa saligang batas, sa konstitusyon. Yung maximum period of 72 days as detention. Nandyan po yan. That's the maximum allowable period. Kaya yung tungkol nga po dun sa Anti-Terrorism Act, isa po sa naging issue, na ganun nga ho, na yung 24 days of detention na nakalagay dun sa Anti-Terrorism Act, hindi po tumutugma. And in fact, sobra dun sa sinasabing period of detention na pwede, but after that, dapat i-charge nyo na, hindi tumutugma doon sa provision of the Constitution. So kailangan ho natin, hindi lang batas, kung yun ho ang magiging posisyon ng Kongreso, ay dapat kailangan din i-amend ang Constitution. Pero syempre, hindi lang basta-basta dahil gustong i-amend, pag-isipan po ng husto yan. Kailangan mabalanse. What should be the exact position na talagang balanse na while upholding state interest in combating crime, palagi natin po dapat rin respeto ang mga individual rights and the Bill of Rights. Second point, yung tungkol po sa study na nabanggit po ni Honorable Adjong. So it says that Davao City is among the safest. Let me point out po na yung study na yun, kung hindi po ako nagkakamali, crowdsourcing po yan. So it's not necessarily reliable, it's not scientific. Ang alam kong study na reliable and scientific, although nakalimutan ko na po kung anong eksaktong study yon, I can search my materials, I can review my materials. Yung sinasabi na yung Davao City ay number 1 ang sa murder, sa incidence of murder. At tumutugma po yan, consistent po yan, doon palaging sinasabi na pinapatay na lang kasi ang mga kriminal. Kaya, highest murder, but can you call that a safe city? Kasi yung murder, labag sa batas. Pwede bang safe ang isang lipunan kung basta na lang mga pinapatay na wala, na hindi dumadaan sa rule of law at wala nga tayong batas ngayon na kumikilala sa death penalty. So how can it be a safe city? Number 3, death penalty. Lagi po akong aalma kapag meron nagpro-propose ng death penalty. Pagkatapos naman kung mga anong insidente dahil nagkaroon ng mga high-profile heinous crimes, some would again propose death penalty. Kaya nga po yung sinasabi na yung sinabi hong listahan kanina ni Honorable Suarez, I actually support all of those. The policy recommendations saka yung mga proposed bills, including the anti-EJK bill. I fully support those, except the one reimposing or seeking to restudy death penalty and eventually reimpose. Why? Number one, alalahanin ho natin, baka nakakalimutan po natin na meron pong linagdaan ang Pilipinas na sinatawag na Second Optional Protocol to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Nung pinirmahan ho natin yung Second Optional Protocol, we committed as a state party never to reimpose or restore death penalty. Nag-commit po tayo doon, nanumpa tayo na hindi na natin maiisip na i-reimpose ang death penalty. Now, isa pang rason kung bakit hindi ko talaga, never akong magsasang-ayon sa death penalty. Yung ating resource person, the former mayor, the former president, kasasabi lang po niya, yung justice system natin, insufficient, weak, inefficient, flawed. May mga diferensya pa ang ating criminal justice system. So kung ganun, dapat ayusin muna natin yung criminal justice system. Kasi pag ganyan na flawed, sigurado ako na magkakamali. May mga pagkakataon na magkakamali ang korte na mag-impose ng death penalty. Yung mga bansa nga, yung mga ibang jurisdictions na medyo advanced na yung kanilang criminal justice system, nagkakamali pa rin. There are really recorded, documented cases of erroneous convictions and erroneous executions. So tayo pa kaya? Na tayo na mismo ang nagsasabi, kulang pa, inefficient pa, flawed pa, weak ang ating justice system? And then lastly, marami na pong mga studies na ang death penalty is never a deterrent to the commission of crimes. So ano magiging silbi nun? Tama na lang po yung ang i-impose kapag mga hinos, mga malalaking kaso, mga murder cases o mga drug cases na mga malalaki, tama na lang pong reclusion perpetua. Basta dumaan sa tamang proseso. Basta maayos ang justice system na mabilis ang takbo ng mga kaso at mapanagot sila ng tama. So for those reasons, Your Honors, Mr. Chair, I register, as always, my position against any plan to reimpose death penalty. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, former Senator De Lima. Next on our list is Congressman Sendanya.
Mr. Chairman, may I just interject for...
First, is this
yes.
a short interjection?
Yes, it's just in connection also with what Senator De Lima said and what Congressman Adjong...
With the permission of Congressman Sendanya. Make it short, please, former Senator Trillanes.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. With all due respect to Congressman Adjong, but he's working on the assumption that seryoso, honest to goodness yung war on drugs. As we found out and as what I presented a while ago, everything is a ruse. Lahat po yon ay pagpapanggap lang. Kaya nga hindi niya masagot yung mga justifications dahil drama lang nila yon. It's just a form of social control, matakot lahat, and it was very effective. Sinampulan si Senator De Lima, pinakulong na walang na fabricated charges, kaya wala na, kumaga umatras na lahat. So it was all about that, pero titignan nyo what happened after. Yung grupo niya, yung sindikato niya, sila Michael Yang, sila Pulong, Charlie Tan, started importing illegal drugs through the front door sa customs. Pero ang ginawa nila nung una, a few months nung start ng administration niya, binabasag nila yung mga shabu laboratory everywhere, with the projection na seryoso sila sa illegal drugs, pero mga kompetensya nila yon, yung local shabu manufacturers. So nung na-abolish na nila lahat, in-import na nila through the front door. Ngayon, magkano ang presyo nung shabu at that time nung kanila tumaas? So yung cartel nila ang nakinabang nung monopolization nung drug war. Kaya nga, sa galit niya, kunyari, sa pagpe-pretend niya ng galit siya sa illegal drugs, pero nung in-import yung 11 billion na shabu, yung 6.4 billion na shabu, then a few others na in-import, meron bang sinabihan si Duterte na kung sino yung drug lord behind it? Wala po. Tapos ito po yan. Sino po yung Customs Commissioner na nung time na yon? Si Faeldon, sa 6.4, si La Peña nung 11 billion. Di ba, pinadaan sa customs, kung talagang galit na galit ka at hindi mo kasabwat yung nagpasok na yon, you should have hung these people kung talagang ganun siya magsalita eh. Pero anong ginawa po niya? Pre-promote niya. No? Pre-promote niya po ito. Pre-protectionan niya kasi mga kasindikato niya. Then, here comes si Peter Lim, who was identified as one of the drug lords. Pero same triad nila Michael Yang, kaya hindi nila mapatay, pinaalis na lang. No? Kunyari, nung nape-pressure, finailan po ng kaso, pero anong ginawa ho? Dinismiss. Despite the evidence. Tapos anong ginawa ho dun sa prosecutor na nag-dismiss? Pre-promote na judge. We have documented all this. Kaya we followed yung sequence ho. Kaya hindi kami mabobola ng mga ganyang parang seryoso. At kaya ako maraming nalilito na parang talagang gusto niyang ayusin lang talaga yung illegal drugs, pero hindi.
Former Senator Trillanes, yes.
Yes.
Can we just...
just one more point, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, yeah.
Ito na lang po.
We're going
Mr. Chairman,
off
if I may.
tangent from
yes.
our discussion.
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman Fernandez.
Para to save time, no,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, can we have the documents that na sinasabi mo a while ago? So, para lang po makuha namin yung lahat ng
Yes.
points that you have mentioned.
I already submitted to the COMSEC yung
When was this?
just today, yung nung
Okay.
present po.
Alright,
And,
thank you.
Kon po, yun po, as challenged earlier by Chairman Paduano, na pwede pong imbitahin yung AMLAC, but as I understand, hindi po exempted yung legislative inquiry because sinubukan na po namin yan. Pero exempted ang impeachment. So lalabas po yan eventually din. Pero yung ombudsman po, when they investigated this, they asked the AMLAC, kasi meron silang MOA ng exchange of information, nakuha nila yung mga dokumento na yun, kaya nga po na-validate yung aming mga dokumento. At ang magpapatotoo po nito, yung tinanggal sa pwesto na si Deputy Ombudsman Arthur Carandang. You can also invite him. Pero ito po yan. Nakita nyo po kanina nung sinabi ni Chairman Suarez na kung pwede siyang pumirma, ano hong ginawa niya, nang gulo siya, no? Pero baka pwedeng ibalik natin dun sa issue na pipirma siya ng waiver. O baka ngayon, nagtutulog-tulugan naman ho. So, pwede po natin papirmahin ng waiver pa rin.
Yes, Senator Trillanes, we'll get to that item later. So I gave you your chance to speak, and I will now recognize Congressman Sindanya. Yes, Congressman Sindanya. Thank you.
May I interrupt?
Mr. Chairman.
Just one moment. I was not sleeping. I was praying
I hope
for his soul.
I hope I was included in your prayers, former President
Nagdarasal
Duterte.
po ako. Hindi ako nagtutulog.
Okay. Yes, Chairman Paduano.
Mr. Chairman, since former Senator Trillanes has mentioned about the authenticity of such, and he mentioned the name of former Deputy Ombudsman Carandang. So, Mr. Chairman, I move that we will invite former Deputy Ombudsman Carandang on the next hearing, Mr. Chairman. So move, Mr. Chairman.
There's a motion that we
Second.
invite former Deputy Ombudsman Karandang. Any second? Duly seconded. Any objection? There being none, motion's approved. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman,
Congressman-
I was informed by the COMSEC that the documents that this representation is asking is not a document. It's a video.
No, it's the presentation. We got the same one. We can have it reprinted, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, with the permission of Chairman
Yeah.
Dan.
We will give it. We will
Let's
give it.
recognize Congressman Sindanya, and then we'll move to the next matter because he has been patiently waiting for his turn. Kaninang umaga pa yan nandito, so pagbigyan muna natin. Congressman Sindanya, bagong upo po itong kinatawan ng kanyang party list. So, of course, you have 10 minutes. You may proceed.
Magandang gabi po, Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat. Magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. Totoo po yun, kanina umaga pa, walang tayuan, walang kain, pero chill lang muna po tayo in the pursuit of truth. I'd like to begin with a short manifestation on the issue of the death penalty. I have to put on record that Akbayan maintains that this is an anti-poor measure. Alam naman po natin na ang karamihan, if not all ng nasa death row, ay laging puro mahihirap dahil hindi nila afford ang mahusay na abogado. Which calls to mind yung mga biktima ng EJK, na karamihan ay mahihirap. Kaya nga po marami nagsasabi that the war on drugs is a war on the poor. Since this morning, I was intently listening to the former president. At nung umaga po, during the first interpellation, nabanggit ninyo na kayo mismo ay nagugulat na sa dami ng pinatay at inutusan yung pumatay, pero wala pang kaso laban sa inyo. Bakit po kaya ganon, Mr. Former President?
Ewan ko, sir. Ikaw lang makasagot niyan.
Marami pong salamat for responding, Mr. Former President. I'll now go to my questions, beginning with, earlier you have reiterated quite often that you will cooperate. Papayag po kayong maimbestiga at magpaimbestiga sa ICC. Is that right, Mr. President?
Matagal ko na silang hinintay, sir. Ako nga ang lilipad na doon kung may pera lang. Sa totoo lang.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Former President, the second question is, doon po sa investigasyon na ito sa ICC, papangalanan niyo po ba ang mga miyembro ng Davao Death Squad?
Former President, yes?
Ako yun, sir.
Yes. Your response? Can you turn the mic on, please? Thank you.
DDS. Sila lang man nagawa ng Davao Death Squad. DDS means Davao Development System. That's the correct term. You are abusing the phrase to the detriment of my city. Wala na tuloy pumupunta doon.
Still on the issue, Mr. Chair, willing po ba kayo na doon sa investigasyon na yon sa ICC na pangalanan ang mga biktima ng pagpatay sa Davao ng DDS, however you call it, simula nung kayo ay mayor, hanggang sa kayo po ay maging presidente?
Hindi ako gumagawa ng listahan, sir, kung sino ang namatay. You have to go to the register of what's it? Civil registrar. At maybe sa police. Huwag ho sa akin, hindi ako bookkeeper para sa namatay ng mga tao.
Next question, Mr. Chair, Mr. Former President, willing po ba kayo na doon sa investigation na yon magsalita tungkol sa paggamit nyo sa PNP bilang inyong death squad through the reward system?
Yes, I will answer questions about DDS, but I have never said that I am willing to admit the existence of DDS to kill people.
In that investigation, Mr. Chair, Mr. Former President of the ICC, willing po ba kayong banggitin kung sino-sino ang nasa drug war at a drug war watch list ng Malacanang at ng police?
Magalit pa ako, sir, kung hindi nila gamitin. Totoo lang. I would be totally disappointed kung hindi nila gamitin yung listahan kung nasaan yan. And the people that they think could shed a light to the extrajudicial killing that happened in this country.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Former President, dahil willing kayo magpaimbestiga, naniniwala po ba kayo na kayo ay entitled to due process?
Natural.
Mr. Chair, Mr. President, bilang akusado, naniniwala po ba kayo na you and your co-accused deserve a fair day in court?
I am not an accused, and whoever you are pointing to as the other accused. So I cannot answer your question intelligently.
Mr. Chair, for an intelligent answer to the question, perhaps I'd like to direct this question to Attorney Chel Jokno. Attorney Chel, ano po ang rights of the accused sa ICC?
Parehas lang po sa mga karapatan ng isang akusado dito sa atin. The right to fair trial, the right to due process of law.
Right, Karandang?
Yes, the Deputy Ombudsman Arthur Karandang confirmed that the documents that I attached when I filed the case was the same set of documents from the AMLAC, from the Anti-Money Laundering Council that they requested. So,
Who requested?
the Ombudsman as part of their investigation.
So what happened to the first case?
So they cannot dismiss it because everything was valid and was validated. So what Duterte did was he fired the deputy ombudsman na nag-iimbestiga. Ganun po 'yon. So nung napalitan na, edi nag-stall na ang kaso.
What
So,
is the status of the case right now?
It's still shelved. So probably once we get a new ombudsman, then these things would start moving, Mr. Chairman.
Say something. Sir.
Mr. Chair.
With the indulgence of Congressman Suwan. Yes, Mr.
Yes,
President.
Mr. President.
Wala tayong pakialam sa ombudsman. We cannot interfere. Alam ninyo yan, baski sino. Lalo na mga politiko.
Yes.
Wala tayong pakialam sa ombudsman. We cannot tinker with the ombudsman. And you can call him here and ask him questions. Hindi pwede talaga yung unless sir, if you are not a self-respecting lawyer, kung wala kang delikadesa, sir, ganon. Pero ganon naman ako sabi ko, kanina pa insisting na mahirap lang ako. I have a set of rules in my life and I follow rules in the civil aspect of my life. And naging physical.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's noted. Yes, please proceed.
Okay, let's go back to the case. Senator Trillanes, you said that your case involved plunder.
Yes, yes, Mr. Chairman. And let me just add, Mr. Chairman, Duterte keeps on saying na he cannot interfere, pero it is on record, kahit i-google po natin ngayon, Mr. Chairman, he fired. Pinatalsik niya sa pwesto yung nag-iimbestiga nung kaso niya, the Deputy Ombudsman Arthur Karandang, who was earlier invited by the chairman para maririnig po sa kanila kung ano talaga yung nangyari po doon sa investigation po na yun.
Mr. Chair, was the former Assistant Ombudsman invited here?
We have not sent an invitation to him, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, it's been moved earlier, Mr. Chair. It's been moved earlier.
Oh, I stand corrected. Yeah, there was a motion earlier.
Mr. Chairman, I'm